Okay, so that window. I don't know what else I can say to put me up there. Just the little boy pound. That was always fun. Nothing ever making sense. And, you know, the beatings, just being beaten relentlessly all the time for nothing. Can't figure out, in my head, I just wanted to be a good boy. Wanted to stop getting in trouble. Wanted a mom that loved me. And that's kind of where it's at, is I knew. I could tell that this isn't the same. My mother doesn't treat me the same as other kids' mothers treat them. And while I loved her, it was lacking. It didn't come back. It never came back. I could get more love from a neighbor than I could my own mother. So I jumped. I survived it. It wasn't very far off the ground. Far enough to stun me. The bag exploded. The toys went everywhere. And I really started to freak out because I realized if I get caught, now I could be in a lot more trouble. This could go from bad to severe. So I panicked and I started throwing all the toys back in the window one at a time. And I stood there in the ivy for a while shaking. My knees, my feet were just shaking. I couldn't get myself unfrozen. My intent was to run down to the park and just literally ask anybody coming by if they could have a place to stay, if they could keep a little boy, if I could stay under their cupboard or in a shed or in their garage or anything. Needed a new place to live. Well, I couldn't make it back in the bedroom window. I couldn't make it back in there. I had to sneak back in the house, which I managed to do. Nora was still upstairs. And I went back into my bedroom. I picked up all the toys, rearranged everything, made it look like nothing had happened. And I sat down and I wrote a poem. And I poured it out. I poured my heart out. I talked about needing a mom. That I love my mom and I have a mom, and I made all these really great comparisons to this mom, and that I just need a mom to love me. And I gave it to her. I left it somewhere on the fridge or something like that. I was called out later that evening. I was incarcerated in the room most of that day. And it was later that evening I was called out. And I had to stand in front of her nervous and humiliated while she read this thing. And I got a partial hug and sent back to my room. That's Mother.